penmanship?
Oh,
Remember Lisa's penmanship? It was
Designer
really
blows
beautiful. And Lisa and Carla had threading before anyone thought it was You know, when we were in Vancouver and they were saying, you know, go to these Indian beauty parlors because they're doing the latest trend now, threading. When I said that, I said, no.
we used to do it.
When my classmates mates were doing that when they were only in grade 7 in the 60s, so it was nothing new. So, Paz, you were going to say something about Lisa. What you remember?
Before she forgets.
One of my early memories of Lisa, we would go, you know, we would come to here, Forbes, no? And we would alternate between Lisa's house and Garnet's house. And it was because we would go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Remember? And you know, we would go trick-or-treating and you know, we were like under grade 6, grade 7. We were going trick-or-treating and I remember, you know, we would say, trick or treat our aching feet. Imagine we're going to say something.
And it was Lisa who taught me how to smoke. Because
In college?
college. Her sister Carla started smoking, and so Lisa says, "Come, let's start. Oh, you know, one cigarette, one coffee, straight to the bathroom. Then later on, she said, Matt, you try to smoke, and then you try to write your name. Give your hand a shake." So she said, kasi me, she demonstrated. And Marjorie said to remind everyone, di ba we enjoyed her meal in one? She makes it.
And
I'm still making it.
oh, very good.
My
Yes.
Everybody
grandchildren.
gets a
In college?
Seventh grade, she gave it to me, the recipe.
Grade school.
She's asking if eating it is
The mealing one.
Yes, the mealing one.
The one corn is you isa one can of corned beef, you open one can of corn, you open one can of Campbell's sweet corn, and then you mix it all. With macaroni, you boil it and mix it all, and put whatever cheese, and then you have a breadcrumb topping with butter, pop it on.
Yeah, the mealing one.
Mealing one. Then may soup na, may vegetable na.
Kompleto.
This was actually her mom's
She calls it
recipe.
mealing. Okay.
So anyone else has something to add to fun facts about Lisa? So before we go, yes.
She, di ba her hair is always bob?
Yeah.
Yes, well.
And then she has this, may roller brush siya. That's how she would curl her hair. She would roll it, and then do everything she wants. Yung roller brush na nandiyon. Every 5 minutes, papalit. She would do her job and whatever we would do. In half an hour, nakabab. Sabi ko always, Lisa, bakit hindi nakuhulog yung roller brush? Kasi pag ganun talaga, all the way, tapos dito, tapos dito. And then she grew older from college to...
No, I remember her boy shoes. Remember? Lisa used to wear boy shoes. Yeah, but I noticed her boy shoes.
Oh, and Lisa was one of the first girls to have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
The rumor is Madeline.
No, we're talking about Bedriana.
Okay.
Not you. You plenty.
You're very
Also with
This is about Lisa.
You went to Fatima Tour, the first one. We were all together, tapos sabi ni Boy Ares, you know, some friends, they share.
You had boyfriend.
Okay.
She was she never sweated. Royal Umbrella.
Yes.
Royal Umbrella. Tapos later on, naging verbena.
That's why we were supposed to shave.
Pagod na ako.
So those are the fun facts about Lisa. Now, this poignant tribute to Lisa and you'll see that it's from a very, very dear friend. Dearest classmates, I know you all loved Lisa. Let me begin. Again. Dearest classmates, I know you all loved and love Lisa, or you would not be here today honoring her, celebrating her. I also know that most of you have probably seen very little of her in the last 4 decades, since our merry old days. Except for the occasional visits like our 2008 movie reunion. Well, if you haven't already seen it, I would just like to assure you that that sweet, wonderful, caring Lisa you knew in high school stayed that way throughout her life. From the moment I met Lisa as a 12-year-old freshman in high school, she was a blessing. I had come to a new school from St. Teresa's, didn't know anyone, tried to make friends, but most seemed to already have the friends they wanted to have, and others had no room in their hearts for me. For more. Yes. Sorry. Some purposely tried to exclude the newcomer, but most probably just didn't notice that she needed a friend, but not Lisa. She came over to me as I was playing guitar in a corner during lunch and asked me if I'd teach her the chords of Dave Clark Five's It's Your Turn to Cry, because she heard me playing it. I said, sure. She said that one of her gangmates had told her to turn her back to me so I wouldn't see her playing the chords to Hurting Inside, but she said if I wanted to, she'd teach me that song as a trade. I told her she didn't need to trade. I was just happy to meet someone who loved to play and sing too. We became friends at that moment and remained close until the day she died. She was like that. She didn't really listen to what people said about other people. She made her own decisions. She had a fiercely independent streak then that wasn't immediately evident because she was quiet and seemed shy. But she wasn't really shy. She loved the performances of our singing group, the Checkers, who should have won the contest. Which we formed in junior year to compete in the SCA folk singing contest. We were sad when we came in second, but we got to play in many other venues. Ateneo Combo concerts, my uncle's TV show, that's Chito Feliciano.
Dance with Chito.
Dance with Chito, yes. And I think also the Uncle Bob's Club.
Yeah, we were there also. Dance time with Chito.
Which she enjoyed very much. She was an excellent guitar player, a real perfectionist with a perfect sense of rhythm. She never froze under the lights, and even if the rest of us were nervous, we'd hear her play that first strong chord and we'd all pull ourselves together. As you all know, Lisa was a disciplined student throughout her schooling and gathered many honors. I don't think I would have passed calculus in college without my math major friend. She would have made a great teacher because she was kind and patient and didn't make you feel like a total idiot, even if you were one. When we traveled all over the usual cities of Europe after college in 1972, she was in charge of our food bag. Her smarts managed to feed and house 4 people who each only had about $500 for almost 2 months. That's a feat. After her long-term relationship in Manila ended, Lisa came to live with me in Hawaii in 1976. By then, I had finished grad school, lived the obligatory few years in exciting New York City, and had been banished by my nervous dad to safer, cleaner Honolulu. Lisa had previously tried living in San Francisco and then LA, but wasn't happy in either place. She was sad when she first came to live with me, but found it hard to stay that way in sunny Hawaii. She started taking art classes at the University of Hawaii and ended up with a 2nd degree in fine arts. What talent she had. The teenager who used to roller dry our hair, apply makeup on us with a sure hand, and paint a gorgeous zodiac wheel on her bedroom wall with black light painted, had graduated to the finer arts. She tie-dyed and batiqued lovely clothing, and at one point she had her own loom and wove beautiful pieces. She cooked us wonderful meals and settled in nicely to the island rhythms and slower pace. She took a job with a small stocks and bond company called E.A. Buck. She started out as one of their junior accountants and worked her way to a company controller. She worked with them for 30 years. She was so beloved that when she became ill in 2009, Mr. Buck did something completely unheard of anywhere, much less in the hard-boiled world of stock brokerages. He said that when she could no longer work, he would continue to pay her salary for the next 10 years. Yes. Lisa worked hard that last year, making sure she completely trained her replacements. It was a lot to teach, and Mr. Buck acknowledged that there was a lot only Lisa knew and had to impart well in order for his business to keep succeeding. In the years she worked there, she made a comfortable salary and was able to buy a beautiful townhouse where we had a reunion in 2001. It was Lisa through and through. Everything was well appointed and beautifully placed. She had a terrific green thumb, and her tiny backyard had a garden rimmed with fragrant rosemary bushes, her favorite. She had a dwarf palm tree in each corner of the garden, and in the middle was an immaculately kept circle that she called her herb mound. She was proud of that mound and would meticulously pick the right stem of thyme and tarragon or sprig of mint for whatever she was cooking or drinking. Our friend Vicky is going to try and emulate this in Baguio and call it Lisa's herb mound.
Wow. There.
I'm positive Lisa will make those herbs flourish. For the next 10 years, Lisa traveled almost every year with me and intermittently with Vicky, Marilyn, and Bethliana. Her favorite trips were the ones to Tuscany and Lombardy, Provence and the French Riviera, and Positano and Sicily, where she was a designated driver of the entire island from Palermo to Taormina. She had not driven much until later in life and was so proud that she had mastered that skill enough to do what she did. She took so many beautiful pictures of the gorgeous Italian and French countryside. She often walked off by herself or lingered longer at certain spots that caught her fancy. Her artistic eye even lent itself to photography. She also loved our trips to Sedona and Mendocino, Napa. She was diagnosed with, this is This is it, cortical basal degeneration in 2009. So we knew that the Mendocino Napa trip in 2010 could be one of her last. The disease causes brain cells in the cortical lobe of the brain to die, bit by bit, thus robbing the victim of being able to send the right messages to her limbs to make them move correctly and eventually at all. Soon after she was diagnosed, we decided to Skype with Lisa every few weeks. It was a way to keep an eye on her and a way for her to feel like she was still part of society. Her condition was isolating her more and more. When she was still healthy, Lisa had said that for our next trip, she wanted to go to Burgundy and the French wine country. She had loved the Chianti wine region in Tuscany and wanted to see what a French one was like. She never stopped being curious. But because she was just a bit less able by 2010, and because she felt she couldn't do a rigorous European trip, we planned a trip to Mendocino and the California wine country instead. It was perfect. She was able to relax, and we were able to pamper her, and she still could do pretty much everything, albeit with lots of rest at night. She was so happy. She loved all the rhododendron gardens near Mendocino, the rolling vineyards of Napa, even a tour of the artistry in Sausalito houseboats. She was in her element. That turned out to be the last trip that she was independently mobile. In late 2013, our group and other good friends drove or flew to meet her in San Francisco, where she was to undergo an evaluation of the progress of her condition at UCSF. She could no longer walk on her own or eat by herself. We hung out with her, sang harmonies with her, ate sushi, drank champagne. She chugged it, bathed her, and just gently pampered her for several days. We threw her a party on her November 4th birthday at a friend's home. She was still so gentle and sweet, quietly happy to be around all her friends, never complaining about her diminished condition. I spoke to Lisa several days before she died. I talked a Hawaiian nurse at the hospital into holding the phone to her ear. She couldn't talk much, no long sentences, just phrases. I tried to make her laugh, brought up fun moments, including her masterful chauffeuring skills in Sicily. She gleefully said, "I drove in Sicily." After a while, I sensed she was tiring and didn't want to keep the nurse too long, so I started my goodbyes. She suddenly burst out with, "I love you, Gracia," her pet name for me. They were the last words I would ever hear her say. And so, dear friends of my youth, I hope this gave you a picture of what became of Lisa the girl. She lived a good life, full of wonder and adventure. She was gentle and kind and generous to a fault. She was never shy to show you you were loved and opened her heart wide to let you love her back. She will never be forgotten, and the triggers to memory are many. Her love of scents, especially verbena and lavender, the songs we sang together, the sights we saw. Her sweetness will remain in our hearts like a beloved melody that plays in your mind and always makes you happy. Love always, Grace.
You're right, that makes sense.
So you heard the cadence, didn't you? Okay, beautiful, diba? Ganda. We were also so touched. Now there are others that present to us. And this one of Dolly would like to read it. How about you, Susan? Big picture. Susan, maybe ask you to read gusto mo ikaw. Si Monique.
Pareho lang tayo may salamin.
Email this to me.
Olvedala ka din sa.
Lisa. My memories of Lisa go back to our singing group, checkered days in high school, particularly our frequent practices in her house. Those were fun memories of my teen years that I will always remember. Together with her sister Carla plus Grace, Mad, Marlene, Mary, and Pat, we harmonized and created music we all enjoyed, singing in different venues and events. Lisa was always the sweet and soft-spoken one in the group who was quite serious about her guitar playing and mastered it. She also had this gentle and ladylike persona, but wait till you see her hit that ball mightily for a home run. Remember she and Sheila? Yes, she was also a softball star. I remember everyone who always asked to hush up before she hit the ball. That was her personal request. And boy, did she hit the ball like there was no tomorrow. Whenever I think of Lisa and her sister Carla, I cannot help but remember their mom, who was such a kind and caring person. She was also a gracious host and always served us delicious food. I can still recall the taste of the delightful crunch of her Vienna cake, which was my favorite. I know that Lisa, as well as Carla, like their mom, are good-hearted people. I feel blessed to have been able to spend such wonderful memories with them.
The next one was sent by Malay. We'll ask Joanne to read it.
Dear Lisa, thank you so much for your friendship. I will always remember your sweet and gentle ways. I can still see us sitting on the steps near the high school cafeteria, you strumming your guitar, sharing Pepsi at recess. I will not forget my first ever treat and tricking at your place and enjoying the goodies from Sunny Big Shop. Thank you for strolling with me in the park in Honolulu, even if we both lost our balance and fell together just as we were trying to hail a taxi. Thank goodness for the tourists who pampered us with their kindness. You attract generosity from others. I thank you and Bill for opening your home to me. I know you both went out of your way to do so. I have to admit, I will sorely miss our Friday prayer Skypes. You have been such a blessing, and your every prayer was spirit-filled. I marvel that at every possible opportunity, you unfailingly lifted up your family and friends to the Lord. I know you continue to do so, even as you now rest in Jesus. I will also not forget that as your eyesight failed, you made sure to listen instead to tapes of the scriptures. I expect you are now getting the answers to your questions, like what is the meaning of Selah in the Psalms? Missing you so much. Love, Malene.
A short message from Linda, so I'll just read this because Marilyn said I would read first, which follows right after. So this is from Linda too. Lisa was always soft-spoken and kind-hearted. She looked always fresh and neat. She was a very sports-minded lady, always cheerful, and had a very good sense of humor. We had a very pleasant time and good fun when we did old Manila walks together. And that's for the memories of me. Now, from Marilyn, because she was my classmate, our kindergarten classmates to high school. My beloved Lizzie, how I miss you so much. Your memory will forever linger within my soul, for you are my second sister, my best friend and close confidant since kindergarten, a cooperative partner in my many crazy escapes through high school and early college days, the best traveling buddy. I can never run out of citing our happy moments together. There are just too many and not enough time. One thing I know for sure is that I will always carry these happy times deep within me, so that we can share and compare notes when we see each other once again. You've always remained a true and loyal friend, despite our small differences, and for these I'm very grateful. I've always admired your love for the simpler things in life, as well as your magnanimous and compassionate, selfless heart. So I toast to these beautiful qualities within you over my Scotch, 7-Ups, vodka, tonics, sangria, and Merlot. Cheers, and Okale Maluna, is the way to say it. Bottoms up, and warm aloha, Mars. Okay, who would like to read Malus? I think Madeline. Madeline. This is the last one, Sam. Excuse me, huh?
Dear sweet Lisa, how I wish we had a chance to cook together, share recipes, swap herbs from our kitchen garden. You know, I still have such a vivid taste memory of that garlic cream cheese dip for potato chips that we enjoyed at your house one day after school. And your mama's mango tartlets, for me, are unsurpassed to this day. What fun that Halloween night when we trick-or-treated in your neighborhood. In parentheses, my only experience going door-to-door begging for candy. Remember collaborating on our alternative graduation ring? Marjorie, you were there too, no?
Walang umalis na eh.
Okay, getting approval from the sisters, we designed it together, a beautiful ring I still have and treasure mine. Thank you, Lisa, for the fresh lace you brought that first LA reunion. Such an effort from the heart, and you have a big one. I am so happy that I got to see you then. Aurea once asked, who do you think is the prettiest in our class? Without pause, I said, Lisa Abreu. You are a beauty among many, but I always saw your inner shining light. Be happy now, Lizzie. You are missed so much. Peace and joy forever, dear friend. From a
You look like that. Carol sent one. I think these are all that are printed were sent to me.
Can you open my mail? Carol sent it.
Does this have internet?
Use my today.
Okay. In the meantime, if there are other people who want to share about, Vicky, we'd like to hear from you. Yeah, even long bit, because we're trying to look for Carol. Carol sent them the tribute. It wasn't printed.
I met Lisa when we were second year high school in one of the SEA conferences. At the time, I was an officer of the SEA. And we kind of got close right away. But I met